March 19, 2004, a day etched in the annals of military frustration, found Marine Corporal James Mitchell in Ramadi, Iraq. He was positioned on a rooftop, his gaze locked through the sophisticated optics of his M4A3 sniper rifle. The oppressive heat of the day registered a searing 112° F, while the wind, a capricious force, swept across the vast expanse of the Euphrates River Valley. Initially estimated at 15 mph, then quickly re-evaluated to 20 mph, its nature was not merely strong but unpredictably swirling, a true meteorological enigma that challenged even the most seasoned marksman. Through the precise magnification of his scope, Corporal Mitchell observed an insurgent mortar crew meticulously preparing their weapon system approximately 800 yards distant. Their sinister intent was clear: to unleash a barrage of deadly projectiles upon a vulnerable Marine convoy navigating the labyrinthine streets below. With a veteran's instinct, Mitchell made swift adjustments to his windage knob. Calculating a necessary shift of 2 minutes of angle to the left, he executed his breathing technique, a ritual of controlled calm, and gently squeezed the trigger. The rifle discharged with a sharp report, but the projectile, despite his expert calculation, veered off course by a critical 3 feet. The enemy combatants, alerted by the near miss, immediately scattered, and their mortars, tragically, fired. The devastating consequence was the loss of 4 Marine lives within the convoy. In a visceral display of profound anguish and frustration, Mitchell slammed his fist against the unyielding concrete surface beneath him. He represented the 3rd Marine sniper that day to fail a crucial engagement. Yet the fault, he instinctively knew, was not entirely his own. The atmospheric conditions in Ramadi were uniquely hostile to precision marksmanship. The wind's direction could dramatically alter within mere 50-yard increments. Furthermore, the intense heat shimmer rendered traditional mirage reading, a cornerstone of long-range shooting, utterly impractical. The standard Marine Corps methodologies for wind assessment, observing swaying grass, sensing the breeze on one's skin, or tracking dust plumes, proved utterly ineffectual within the confining, turbulent urban canyons of concrete and reinforcing bar. Unbeknownst to him, this very frustration, shared by countless others, was poised to ignite the genesis of the most contentious revolution in the history of sniper technology. Please stay with us and watch the end of the video. We will be grateful for your like and subscription. Also, please take a moment to leave a comment about where you are from and what you think about the video topic. The statistical data painted a stark and disheartening picture of the challenges faced. Within the unforgiving urban battlegrounds of Iraq, Marine Scout snipers were achieving a dismal first-round hit rate of only 31% when engaging targets beyond 600 yards. A staggering 73% of all missed shots were directly attributable to errors in wind calculation. This deficiency forced snipers to expend an average of 2 rounds for each confirmed kill, a significant drain on precious ammunition reserves, particularly during prolonged and intense firefights. Enemy combatants, cunning and adaptive, had quickly learned to exploit this vulnerability, timing their movements to coincide with the approximately 153 seconds it took a sniper to reevaluate conditions and prepare for a follow-up shot. Over the preceding 11 months, the Marine Corps had tragically lost 14 scout snipers to enemy fire, brave individuals whose positions were inadvertently revealed by the necessity of firing multiple rounds, a direct consequence of their inability to accurately gauge the wind for a definitive one-shot neutralization. Meanwhile, At Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, the Marine Corps Scout Sniper School continued to impart the very same wind-reading techniques that had been codified and adopted in Vietnam as far back as 1968. Instructors meticulously guided students on how to interpret mirage through their rifle scopes, how to discern wind speed by feeling it on their faces, and how to apply complex formulas involving wind speed, range, and a constant divisor. This approach, fundamentally analog and inherently imprecise, was proving catastrophically inadequate in the face of Iraq's erratic urban wind patterns, leading directly to the deaths of Marines. What the Marine Corps leadership remained unaware of was that a 23-year-old corporal, possessing no formal engineering qualifications, was on the cusp of rendering their entire established wind-reading doctrine utterly obsolete. Back at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, in May 2004, the Marine Corps had already been grappling with the intractable problem of wind compensation for 6 decades. Following the conclusion of World War II, the legendary Marine sniper instructor, Chief Warrant Officer Arthur Terry, had pioneered the mirage reading technique. This method involved carefully observing heat waves through a spotting scope to deduce both wind velocity and direction. While remarkably effective in open, unobstructed terrain and credited with saving countless lives during the Vietnam conflict, it proved entirely ineffectual in the unique urban landscapes of Iraq. There, heat emanated from a multitude of concrete surfaces at varying temperatures, transforming mirage into an indecipherable chaotic blur, rendering the technique useless. In 1977, a significant collaborative effort between the Marine Corps and Leupold Optics yielded the development of the mil-dot reticle. This innovative scope design incorporated precise reference points, greatly aiding snipers in accurately estimating both target range and necessary holdover for bullet drop. While an undeniably brilliant advancement for elevation adjustments, it offered no practical assistance whatsoever in mitigating the effects of wind. A sniper, despite this technological leap, was still compelled to make educated guesses regarding wind speed and direction, ultimately relying on hope and prayer that the bullet would not be deflected into an adjacent structure or completely miss its intended target. By 2003, the Army's Natick Soldier Research Center had invested a substantial $2.3 million into the development of handheld wind meters, digital instruments designed to measure wind speed specifically at the shooter's immediate location. These devices, however, were met with widespread disdain by snipers. The fundamental flaw lay in their localized measurement. The wind conditions at the firing position bore little relevance to the entirely different wind patterns prevailing 400 yards downrange. Furthermore, these gadgets were not only expensive, priced at $800 each, but also notoriously fragile and dependent on batteries that succumbed rapidly to the extreme heat of the Iraqi environment. The prevailing expert consensus was unequivocally clear. A practical solution for real-time wind reading in urban combat simply did not exist. Dr. Robert Williams, a highly respected ballistics expert affiliated with Aberdeen Proving Ground, published a seminal paper in May 2004, unequivocally stating, "Wind presents an inherently chaotic, three-dimensional fluid dynamics problem. Without measuring instruments positioned along the entire bullet trajectory, an impossibility in combat, precision wind compensation remains dependent on shooter experience and environmental intuition." This highly technical pronouncement could be succinctly translated: snipers would forever be relegated to making estimations. The imperative, therefore, was either to refine one's guessing abilities or to resignedly accept the inevitable misses. The implications of this insurmountable challenge were growing dire. Marine Corps after-action reports from the fierce urban battles in Fallujah revealed a disturbing trend. Enemy combatants were actively adapting their tactics. They had become acutely aware of the American snipers' struggles with wind compensation. Consequently, they began strategically timing their movements to coincide with the windiest periods of the day, particularly the late afternoon, when thermal currents generated notoriously unpredictable swirls. They also learned to exploit the critical 15-second window following a sniper's initial miss, using this brief reprieve either to make their escape or to launch a retaliatory attack. At Marine Corps Base Quantico, a 3-star general, recognizing the escalating crisis, urgently convened a meeting with the leadership of the Scout Sniper School. "We are training the finest marksmen in the entire world," he declared with palpable frustration, "yet they are failing their missions due to wind. Fix this. I demand it, regardless of the means." The school commandant, a seasoned colonel with 22 years of invaluable sniper experience, responded with brutal, unvarnished honesty. "Sir, it is beyond our capability. We are imparting every shred of knowledge we possess. Wind reading is an intricate art, not a precise science. It demands years of dedicated mastery. Our young Marines deploy after a mere 16 weeks of training. There is no existing technology that can adequately assist them." The general, slamming his hand onto the table, retorted, "Then our Marines will continue to perish. This is entirely unacceptable." The commandant continued, reiterating the perceived futility, "But there is no viable solution. The underlying physics are simply too complex. Achieving real-time wind measurement across an 800-yard urban expanse would necessitate dozens of sophisticated sensors, seamless wireless communication, immense portable computing power, and advanced algorithms that simply do not currently exist. Such technology remains decades away, if it is even remotely feasible." In the absence of a technological breakthrough, the Marine Corps, in its time-honored tradition, resorted to its customary response, intensifying training, extending instructional periods, and demanding even greater performance from its already highly skilled snipers. In May 2004, the Scout Sniper School significantly augmented its wind reading curriculum, expanding it from 12 hours to a more rigorous 24 hours. Instructors relentlessly drilled students on mirage recognition techniques until their eyes ached from the strain. Students fired thousands upon thousands of rounds under a myriad of different wind conditions, striving to cultivate both muscle memory and an intuitive understanding of the environment. While these intensive efforts yielded a marginal improvement, with hit rates climbing from 31% to a still insufficient 34%, the grim reality persisted. 4 additional Marines tragically lost their lives in June due to missed sniper shots. The problem, to all appearances, seemed utterly insurmountable. After 5 decades of extensive military research, millions of dollars invested, and the collective intellect of the finest minds in ballistics, the resounding conclusion remained. Reliably reading wind in urban combat was an impossibility. Yet 800 miles away, a young corporal harbored a profoundly different revolutionary thought. A unique perspective emerges from the journey of Corporal James Mitchell, a man who notably lacked a formal university education. Hailing from Hendersonville, Tennessee, he dedicated his early years to assisting in his father's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, HVAC repair enterprise. At the age of 19, he enlisted in the Marine Corps, finding the traditional academic path unappealing, instead gravitating towards practical, hands-on endeavors. Despite his practical aptitude, his journey to becoming a scout sniper was not without its challenges. He secured his qualification on his second attempt, navigating the rigorous wind-reading assessments with a narrow margin of success. His training cadre's evaluation reflected a nuanced assessment, categorizing his performance as adequate but not exceptional, specifically highlighting his struggles with mirage interpretation. A pivotal and deeply distressing incident in Ramadi, characterized by a critical missed shot that relentlessly plagued his subconscious, continued to cast a long shadow over Corporal Mitchell. Upon his return to Camp Lejeune in July 2004 for his post-deployment recuperation, the expectation was a period of restorative calm. However, his mind was consumed by an unyielding obsession. He found himself compulsively replaying the fateful scenario countless times, agonizing over the chaotic, swirling wind conditions and his misjudgment, which tragically resulted in the loss of 4 lives. In a testament to his relentless introspection, he began carrying a small notebook, ubiquitously, meticulously documenting his observations. He would often be found outside the barracks, intently studying the subtle dance of leaves in the breeze, feeling the gentle caress of the wind on his skin, and diligently recording his perceptions. His fellow Marines, witnessing this unusual behavior, grew concerned, perceiving it as a sign of mental distress. "Mitch," they would urge, "you're off duty, man. Let it go." Yet for Mitchell, releasing this burden was an impossibility. Stay with us and watch the end of the video. We will be grateful for your like and subscription. Write a comment about where you are from and what you think about the video topic. On August 3, 2004, a seemingly mundane chore would ignite a profound realization. Mitchell was assisting his father with the repair of an air conditioning unit situated on the expansive rooftop of a commercial edifice. The conditions were notably blustery, with gusts originating from the west, perhaps reaching velocities of 10 miles per hour. His father, a seasoned professional, deployed a handheld anemometer, a compact spinning cup instrument designed for measuring wind speed, to gauge the airflow in proximity to the HVAC exhaust vent. Mitchell's gaze was fixed on the device's rapid rotation. His attention then shifted across the rooftop to another HVAC unit, approximately 50 yards distant, whose exhaust was demonstrably dispersing in an entirely distinct trajectory. Perplexed, he inquired of his father, "Why is the wind different over there?" His father, with a casual shrug of experienced understanding, elucidated, "The building itself generates eddies. Wind impacts one side and subsequently swirls around. This is precisely why we take measurements prior to installation, to ascertain the direction of heat exhaustion." Mitchell's gaze remained transfixed on the 2 disparate HVAC units, observing the divergent wind patterns across a mere 50-yard expanse. It was in this moment that a revolutionary insight crystallized within his mind. What if it were possible to quantify wind not from the shooter's vantage point, but precisely at the bullet's trajectory? Initially, the nascent concept struck him as inherently preposterous. The conventional approach would necessitate the deployment of sensors downrange, an impracticality given the inherent dangers of traversing 800 yards into hostile territory to position meteorological instruments. Yet, Mitchell's mind persistently grappled with the conundrum, prompting a pivotal what-if scenario. What if the reliance on physical sensors could be circumvented? What if wind could be quantified by observing the motion of another entity through it? His thoughts drifted back to his sniper school curriculum, specifically recalling the principles of mirage reading. This technique functioned on the premise of observing heat waves as they visibly distorted and bent through moving air. The mirage's displacement was a direct consequence of wind propulsion. This represented an indirect form of measurement, focusing on the observable effect rather than the direct cause. However, Mitchell mused, what if this same principle could be applied to something intrinsically more precise, something amenable to exact quantification? On August 10, 2004, while present at the Camp Lejeune rifle range, Mitchell observed a fellow corporal engaged in the routine task of zeroing his service rifle. As the corporal discharged 3 rounds, Mitchell's keen eye detected the faint, ephemeral gray lines of condensation, the bullet vapor trails that momentarily etched themselves into the humid North Carolina atmosphere, exhibiting a subtle curve to the left, a clear indication of wind influence. Mitchell immediately grasped the significance. The vapor trail was visually articulating the precise manner in which the wind was impacting the projectile's trajectory. A surge of excitement quickened his pulse. Although these transient trails persisted for only a fleeting second, the question arose, what if these could be meticulously tracked, measured, and subsequently leveraged to compute wind drift in real time? That very evening, Mitchell commenced an intense session of sketching within his notebook. His nascent concept was undeniably rudimentary, perhaps even bordering on the outlandish, yet it had taken an unshakable hold on his imagination. Lacking the sophisticated resources of a dedicated laboratory, Mitchell's assets comprised a modest garage, a personal laptop, and a self-funded budget of $340. Throughout August 2004, Mitchell embarked on the practical phase of his experimental endeavor. He procured a pre-owned digital camcorder from a local pawn shop for $85 and acquired an inexpensive laser pointer for $12. Complementing these physical tools, he downloaded freely available video editing software. His proposed methodology, while seemingly straightforward, perhaps harbored an element of oversimplification. The sequence of operations was conceptualized as follows. First, a camera would be securely affixed adjacent to the sniper scope. Second, the ephemeral vapor trail generated by the bullet would be recorded. Third, the extent of the trail's deviation from the point of aim would be meticulously measured. Finally, this measured drift would serve as the foundational data for calculating the precise wind speed between the shooter and the intended target. While the conceptual framework appeared ingenious on paper, its initial manifestation in the physical world proved to be an unmitigated catastrophe. His inaugural field test transpired on August 19, 2004, conducted during off-peak hours at the Camp Lejeune range. Mitchell, in a rudimentary fashion, secured the digital camcorder to his M40A3 rifle using duct tape. Upon discharge of the weapon, the violent force of the recoil violently dislodged the camera from its precarious attachment, sending it hurtling into the dirt, where it promptly shattered. The $85 investment was instantly lost. Undeterred, Mitchell uttered expletives, then proceeded to acquire a replacement camera, resolute in his determination to attempt the experiment once more. For his subsequent trial, Mitchell implemented modifications to his mounting strategy. He encased the camera in protective foam and utilized more robust zip ties in lieu of the previous duct tape. This time, upon firing, the camera remained securely affixed. However, the resulting footage proved utterly unserviceable. The camera's inherent autofocus mechanism was demonstrably incapable of tracking a projectile traveling at an astonishing velocity of 2,800 feet per second. Consequently, the elusive vapor trail, which manifested for a mere 3 seconds, appeared as an indistinct blur across the video frame. In his third iteration, Mitchell adjusted the camera settings, configuring it for manual focus and setting the focal point to infinity. This yielded a discernible improvement in image clarity. Nevertheless, the vapor trail remained exceedingly faint, bordering on invisibility. It became unequivocally clear that a higher degree of contrast was essential for his observations. On September 2, 2004, a breakthrough concept materialized for Mitchell. He made a trip to Home Depot, acquiring a sheet of black poster board for a nominal sum of $3. This dark backdrop was strategically positioned downrange at 100 yards. Upon firing and subsequently reviewing the footage, the elusive phenomenon was finally captured with clarity. The vapor trail, now strikingly crisp and distinctly visible against the stark black background, exhibited a precise 3-inch curve to the left within the fleeting half-second prior to its dissipation. Mitchell meticulously rewound the video, re-observing the trajectory, and then, using a ruler against the screen, measured the curve, 3 inches at 100 yards. Armed with the established ballistic coefficient for his 308 Federal Gold Medal match ammunition, he was able to reverse engineer the data, concluding that the wind was blowing at approximately 12 miles per hour from left to right. A subsequent check of the range's official wind flag corroborated his finding, displaying a reading of 11 manaf. "Holy expletive!" he exclaimed, his voice filled with incredulity and elation. "It works." Mitchell's hands trembled as he diligently transcribed his observations. The initial prototype, though undeniably crude and verging on the absurd, involving the literal attachment of a camcorder to a rifle, filming shots, and then post-analysis of footage to ascertain wind data, was unequivocally functional. Despite its inherent slowness and unwieldiness, the fundamental principle had proven robust. By September 15, 2004, Mitchell felt confident enough to share his unorthodox setup with his spotter, Lance Corporal Danny Ortega. Ortega observed with growing fascination as Mitchell filmed a shot, painstakingly measured the vapor trail's drift, and subsequently performed the wind calculations. After a moment of contemplation, Ortega slowly articulated his thoughts. "Dude, that's expletive brilliant, but simultaneously it almost certainly contravenes some standing regulation. You are effectively modifying a weapon system without official authorization, an act that could easily lead to non-judicial punishment, NJP, emphasizing the gravity of military discipline." Mitchell acknowledged the validity of Ortega's concern with a nod, confirming, "Yeah, probably." Then with a direct challenge he asked, "Are you going to stop?" Mitchell's gaze swept over his notebook, replete with intricate calculations and preliminary sketches. "No," he declared with unwavering conviction. "I am going to perfect this, and then I am going to present it to command." "Yes, sir." Ortega responded with a wide grin. "That is absolutely insane. Count me in." In a remarkable display of ingenuity, A young Marine, Corporal Mitchell, approached his platoon commander, Captain Richard Voss, in September 2004 at Camp Lejeune. Armed with a laptop, a meticulously filled notebook, and an unconventional camera prototype, crudely held together with duct tape, Mitchell presented a groundbreaking concept. He asserted that he had devised an innovative technique for precisely measuring downrange wind conditions by analyzing the subtle drift of bullet vapor trails, and he earnestly sought official authorization to conduct formal testing of his method. His initial conviction, a simple yet powerful, "That is insane, I'm in," had propelled him to this pivotal moment, brimming with the belief that he had uncovered a critical solution for snipers. Captain Voss, after patiently observing the camcorder footage and reviewing Mitchell's accompanying calculations, leaned back with a discernible sigh, his posture conveying a mixture of weariness and skepticism. He acknowledged Mitchell's commendable initiative, but quickly underscored the stark realities of military innovation. The captain articulated that the Marine Corps' approach to technological advancement was far more structured and heavily resourced, citing the contributions of PhD-level experts at Quantico dedicated to sniper technology and the substantial multi-million-dollar budgets allocated to contractors at Aberdeen Proving Ground. He openly questioned how a 23-year-old E4 with merely a high school diploma could presume to have resolved the complex challenge of wind reading with a modest $85 camera acquired from a pawn shop. Mitchell firmly insisted on the inherent soundness of his underlying concept. However, Captain Voss swiftly countered, pointing out the limitations of Mitchell's preliminary data, which originated from a controlled 100-yard range under pristine conditions, a far cry from the unpredictable and demanding environment of actual combat. Furthermore, Voss highlighted the severe bureaucratic ramifications of Mitchell's unauthorized modification of a weapon system, envisioning a formidable paperwork nightmare involving countless forms required to escalate such a proposal through official channels. With a jaw noticeably tightening, Mitchell passionately argued that snipers were consistently missing critical shots due to the inability to accurately gauge wind, and that his invention held the potential to preserve lives. Captain Voss's demeanor softened marginally, yet he remained resolute, explaining that the Marine Corps generally did not integrate technology stemming from home experiments conducted by junior enlisted personnel. He advised Mitchell to formally document his idea as a suggestion and submit it via the proper administrative channels, suggesting a review might occur in 2 or 3 years by someone at Quantico. Stay with us and watch the end of the video. We will be grateful for your like and subscription. Write a comment about where you are from and what you think about the video topic. Mitchell understood implicitly that 2 or 3 years was a polite euphemism for permanent deferral. Upon exiting Captain Voss's office, he was met by Ortega, who eagerly inquired about the outcome. He said no, Mitchell replied succinctly. Faced with the immediate question of, "So what now?" Mitchell paused, a long moment of contemplation passing before he declared, with renewed determination, "We keep testing. We prove it works. Then they can't ignore us." This defiant resolve set the stage for their continued, unauthorized efforts. Throughout October 2004, Mitchell and Ortega covertly conducted additional tests during their off-duty hours at the rifle range. They meticulously filmed 50 individual shots under a diverse array of wind conditions, carefully measuring the minute drift of each bullet's vapor trail. From this data, they calculated the localized wind speed, subsequently comparing their findings to the official readings from the range's anemometer. The results were compelling. Their system achieved an impressive 87% accuracy rate. As news of their unsanctioned experiments and their remarkable success permeated the scout sniper platoon, opinions diverged sharply. Some Marines hailed Mitchell's ingenuity as nothing short of genius, while others viewed his actions as a reckless gamble, a potential act of career suicide given the serious implications of tampering with military equipment, conducting unauthorized trials, and flagrantly bypassing the established chain of command. On November 3, 2004, Mitchell received an unexpected summons for a meeting, not with his immediate superior, Captain Voss, but with the more formidable Scout Sniper School Commandant, Colonel Frank Delaney, accompanied by 2 distinguished civilian contractors from Quantico's Ballistics Research Division. As Mitchell entered the conference room, he observed 6 men seated around a table, and a jolt went through him as he recognized Dr. Robert Williams, the renowned ballistics expert from Aberdeen, whose published research had famously concluded that real-time wind reading was an impossibility. In that moment, Mitchell understood the profound gravity of his situation. This meeting would either mark his career's pivotal breakthrough or lead directly to a court-martial. Colonel Delaney initiated the conversation with a stern tone directly addressing Corporal Mitchell. He stated, "Corporal Mitchell, I've heard you've been conducting experiments, modifying weapons, operating outside proper channels." Mitchell attempted to interject, "Sir, but was firmly cut off by Delaney, who asserted, "I'm not finished." The colonel's face remained unreadable as he continued, adding that he had also received reports suggesting these unauthorized experiments might in fact be effective. He then introduced Dr. Williams, highlighting the expert's profound skepticism regarding Mitchell's claims, which necessitated his journey from Maryland to personally observe a demonstration. Delaney laid down a clear ultimatum. If Mitchell's idea proved its merit, further discussions would ensue. If it proved to be expletive, Mitchell would face disciplinary action for squandering everyone's valuable time and violating approximately 12 military regulations. "Clear," Delaney demanded. Mitchell's response was a crisp, unequivocal, "Crystal, sir." 2 days later, on November 5, 2004, the scene shifted to the Camp Lejeune rifle range. Mitchell meticulously prepared his prototype, which now featured a slightly more refined design and an improved camera mount. The environmental conditions were particularly challenging, with winds gusting at 15 mph and constantly shifting direction. Ideal for rigorously testing the system, yet notoriously difficult for accurate shooting. Dr. Williams observed the setup with his arms crossed, his skepticism palpable. He challenged Mitchell directly. "Corporal, I've spent 20 years studying ballistics. Real-time wind measurement across distance requires sensor arrays, telemetry, computational fluid dynamics. You're telling me a camcorder can do that?" The implication was clear. Mitchell's simple device seemed utterly inadequate for such a complex task. Mitchell calmly clarified his methodology, explaining, "Not exactly, sir. I'm measuring the effect of wind on the bullet. The vapor trail shows drift. I calculate backward." Dr. Williams immediately dismissed this approach as indirect measurement and inherently erroneous. Mitchell, however, offered a pragmatic counterpoint. "Yes, sir, but better than guessing." He then fired a shot, filmed it, and reviewed the footage on his laptop, meticulously measuring the vapor trail drift. His calculation yielded a wind speed of 14. 7 Memaviniwi, quartering, from the right. He then walked to the range's official weather station and read the anemometer. 15. 2 Emperor, right to left. Dr. Williams stared intently at the numbers, his skepticism visibly wavering as he tersely commanded. Again. Mitchell proceeded to fire 10 more shots. His average calculation from these trials was 14, 9 Mahai, while the anemometer consistently registered 15. Tuiam, the remarkably small margin of error, just 2%, stunned everyone present, and a collective eruption of astonished murmurs filled the room. Immediately following the demonstration, one of the Quantico contractors voiced his concern, stating, "This violates every protocol." However, Dr. Williams swiftly interjected, cutting off the objection with a profound statement. "It also works." Colonel Delaney then rose, directing his gaze squarely at Mitchell. He acknowledged, "Corporal, you've broken about 15 rules getting here, but this has potential." The colonel's words carried immense weight as he formally authorized further testing, declaring, "I'm authorizing formal testing. We're taking this to Quantico." Mitchell let out a long, slow exhale, feeling an enormous burden lift from his shoulders after what felt like an hour of suspended animation. "Thank you, sir," he responded, his voice tinged with relief. By January 2005, the project had transitioned to the Marine Corps Base Quantico, Virginia, where the Marine Corps Warfighting Lab assumed control. True to the military's propensity for thoroughness, they proceeded to over-engineer Mitchell's original prototype. The humble camcorder was replaced with a sophisticated high-speed ballistic camera capable of capturing an astonishing 1,000 frames per second. Proprietary software was meticulously developed to automatically track the subtle nuances of vapor trails and precisely calculate drift. The entire system was seamlessly integrated with a laser rangefinder and a ballistic computer, transforming Mitchell's basic concept into a state-of-the-art military instrument. By March 2005, a fully functional prototype had been realized, the VT-1 Vapor Trail Wind Compensation System. This advanced device was specifically designed to be mounted onto an M4A3 rifle. The complete assembly, including the camera module and the processing unit, weighed a manageable 14 pounds. Powering the system were long-lasting lithium batteries, providing a robust 6 hours of continuous operational capability, ensuring its utility in extended field scenarios. Formal testing commenced on April 12, 2005, at Quantico's Weapons Training Battalion range. A diverse group of 12 Marine Scout snipers, encompassing ranks from corporals to gunnery sergeants, participated in the rigorous evaluation. Over a period of 3 days, a total of 600 rounds were fired under a wide spectrum of wind conditions, ranging from serene calm to steady breezes, and from unpredictable gusts to complex swirling patterns. Half of these shots utilized traditional wind reading techniques, relying on the sniper's experience and judgment, while the other half leveraged Mitchell's revolutionary VT-1 system. The outcomes were nothing short of astonishing to all observers. With traditional methods, the snipers achieved a mere 34% first-round hit rate at distances between 600 and 800 yards. In stark contrast, when employing the VT-1 system, the first-round hit rate soared to an impressive 71% within the same range. The system's efficacy was even more pronounced at extended distances. At 1,000 yards, a range where accurate wind reading becomes exponentially more challenging and critical, traditional methods yielded a meager 18% first round hit rate, whereas the VT-1 system delivered an astounding 62% first-round hit rate, unequivocally demonstrating its transformative potential. The initial effectiveness of the innovative system was immediately evident, demonstrating a remarkable 62% first-round hit rate. Dr. Williams, initially a skeptic, but now a firm proponent, articulated his profound endorsement in an official report, stating, "Corporal Mitchell's ingenious concept fundamentally transforms the traditional approach to wind estimation, shifting it from a speculative prediction to an empirical measurement through the direct observation of bullet behavior in real time." He further elaborated that this sophisticated system meticulously accounts for a myriad of atmospheric variables, such as unpredictable thermals, turbulent eddies, and shifting crosswinds, elements that are inherently impossible to accurately anticipate or calculate from a stationary firing position. This groundbreaking innovation, he concluded, unequivocally signified a monumental paradigm shift in the realm of precision marksmanship. Recognizing its immense potential, the Marine Corps swiftly expedited the VT-1 system through its deployment protocols. Consequently, by August 2005, a contingent of 20 units was dispatched to Iraq, specifically designated for rigorous combat evaluation in active theaters of operation. On the significant date of September 14, 2005, in the embattled city of Fallujah, Iraq, Sergeant Carlos Ruiz assumed a tactical crouch on a rooftop. His vantage point offered an unobstructed view of Route Michigan, the principal thoroughfare winding through Fallujah. Ruiz was among the inaugural group of elite snipers to be equipped with the recently introduced VT-1 system. His target, an insurgent machine gun team diligently establishing its position approximately 750 yards distant, poised to launch an ambush against an approaching convoy. The environmental conditions were exceedingly challenging. A vicious wind, characterized by swirling gusts, swept in from the nearby Euphrates River, registering an estimated velocity of 20 miles per hour. Crucially, the wind's direction was notoriously inconsistent, fluctuating unpredictably. Under conventional marksmanship protocols, Ruiz would typically have to discharge an initial round, observe its trajectory and miss, then meticulously adjust his aiming parameters before attempting a subsequent shot. Such a time-consuming process would almost certainly result in the insurgents either vanishing from their position or retaliating with their own gunfire. Rather than relying on outdated methods, Sergeant Ruiz activated the VT-1 system. He then discharged a solitary ranging shot, not at the enemy, but strategically at a secure backstop, a robust concrete wall situated in the vicinity of the intended target. The system's integrated high-speed camera meticulously captured the ephemeral vapor trail of the projectile, precisely measuring its lateral drift. Based on this real-time data, the VT-1's sophisticated algorithms instantly calculated the prevailing wind conditions. A formidable 22 miles per hour, quartering left at an angle of 45 degrees. 5. Subsequently, the advanced ballistic computer within the system autonomously and instantaneously recalibrated Ruiz's aim point, providing an exact adjustment. With unwavering focus, Ruiz shifted his rifle's crosshair to align with this newly calculated position, took a controlled breath, and gently squeezed the trigger. The insurgent machine gunner immediately fell, incapacitated. This decisive engagement was accomplished with just one shot, resulting in a confirmed kill. We sincerely invite you to stay with us and watch the conclusion of this compelling video. Your engagement is highly valued, and we would be profoundly grateful for your like and subscription. Please also take a moment to share a comment below, letting us know where you are watching from and your thoughts on the significant topic discussed in this presentation. Lance Corporal Mike Hernandez, Ruiz's dedicated spotter, peered intently through his high-powered spotting scope, witnessing the extraordinary precision. A gasp of disbelief escaped him as he exclaimed, "Holy Sergeant, you just made that look incredibly easy." To which Sergeant Ruiz, with a calm demeanor and a knowing smile, simply replied, "That, Lance Corporal, is precisely the intention." During the subsequent 3-month period, Marine snipers, now equipped with the revolutionary VT-1 system, collectively achieved an impressive tally of 247 confirmed kills across the critical battlegrounds of Fallujah, Ramadi, and Mosul. Their statistical average for shots expended per kill dramatically improved to a mere 1.4 rounds. This represented a substantial reduction from the pre-VT-1 average, which stood at a considerably higher 4.2 rounds per kill. This stark disparity was not merely an indication of enhanced ammunition efficiency. More critically, it translated directly into a significant increase in survivability for the snipers themselves. The necessity of firing fewer shots inherently meant reduced exposure time on target, a diminished number of telltale muzzle flashes that could betray their presence, and consequently, a significantly lower probability of enemy counter-snipers successfully pinpointing their concealed positions. By the close of December 2005, a truly remarkable statistic emerged. Marine snipers operating with the VT-1 systems had not sustained a single combat fatality. This stood in stark contrast to the identical period in the preceding year, when, without the benefit of this advanced technology, a tragic toll of 14 snipers had been lost in combat. The impact of the VT-1 system was not lost on the adversary, as evidenced by intercepted insurgent communications. Marine intelligence, in January 2006, uncovered a palpable and escalating sense of fear among enemy forces. In one particularly telling instance, an al-Qaeda in Iraq combatant, whose conversation was recorded in a secure safe house in Ramadi, articulated his growing apprehension, stating, "The American snipers have changed. Before, if you moved quickly, you could often evade capture or escape after their initial shot. Now, however, the first shot consistently results in a kill. They possess some new form of magic. We are simply unable to effectively contend with their snipers any longer." Further corroborating this shift in enemy perception was a revealing letter discovered on the person of a deceased insurgent commander, dated February 2006. The directive within the letter was unequivocal. Do not engage American sniper positions. They do not miss. Movement is permissible only under the cover of night or during severe dust storms, conditions under which their superior vision is sufficiently obscured. Beyond its direct lethal efficacy, the VT-1 system achieved a profound strategic objective that mere ballistic force could not. It forged a powerful psychological deterrent. The pervasive fear it instilled compelled insurgents to cease all daytime movement, effectively cowering under its shadow. Furthermore, they began to precipitously abandon their established positions whenever they harbored even the slightest suspicion of a Marine sniper's presence. Consequently, entire neighborhoods and sectors became markedly safer, not solely due to direct engagement, but because the enemy's profound apprehension of encountering these precision marksmen rendered them unwilling to engage. In March 2006, at Camp Lejeune, the architect of this groundbreaking technology, Corporal Mitchell, now meritoriously promoted to Sergeant Mitchell, made a distinguished visit to the Scout Sniper School. He served as a guest instructor, personally conducting a comprehensive demonstration of the VT-1 system for a cohort of eager new students. Following the impressive demonstration, a young corporal approached Sergeant Mitchell, a hint of awe in his voice. "Sergeant," he inquired, "is it truly accurate that you constructed the initial prototype of this system in your own garage?" Mitchell, with a modest smile, confirmed, "Indeed. It was assembled using little more than a pawn-shop camcorder and some duct tape." The corporal pressed on. "And rumor has it, they very nearly subjected you to a court-martial for your unauthorized initiative." Mitchell's smile broadened slightly. Almost, but ultimately they did not. The student paused, contemplating, then tentatively began, "So, if I happen to have an idea that might seem unconventional or even crazy, I should?" Mitchell interrupted, his tone firm and encouraging. "You absolutely should test it. Rigorously prove its efficacy, and then, with undeniable evidence, compel them to listen." The Marine Corps, at its core, holds no regard for your rank if your innovative idea possesses the potential to save lives. What they truly value, above all else, are tangible, life-saving results. By June 2006, the cumulative statistics, after a full year of combat deployment, painted a compelling picture of the VT-1's impact. Snipers outfitted with the system had collectively achieved an astounding 1,147 confirmed kills, boasting an impressive 71% first-round hit rate. The average number of shots required per kill remained exceptionally low at 1-4 rounds, a dramatic reduction from the pre-VT-1 average of 2 rounds. Perhaps most significantly, sniper fatalities plummeted to just 2, a drastic decrease from the 14 deaths recorded in the preceding year before the system's widespread adoption. Furthermore, the effectiveness of each sniper team was profoundly amplified, with the enemy killed in action, KIA, rate per team, standing at 3, 2 times higher than in the era prior to the VT-1. Economically, the system also yielded tangible benefits, saving over 5,000 rounds of ammunition, an estimated value of $12,000. Yet transcending all other metrics, the singular most crucial figure was the estimated number of friendly lives preserved. This vital statistic indicated that 38 Marines and soldiers who would have otherwise tragically perished in ambushes were spared due to the timely and precise interventions of VT-1-equipped snipers. Gunnery Sergeant Mike Callahan, a seasoned veteran with 19 years of dedicated sniper experience, penned a heartfelt message to Mitchell. In his correspondence, he unequivocally stated, "I have spent 2 decades honing my marksmanship skills, and I have personally trained hundreds of Marines in the art of precision shooting. Your innovative system, however, accomplished something truly remarkable. It elevated my capabilities as a sniper more profoundly in a single day than my entire 20 years of accumulated experience ever did. Because of your ingenuity, 38 young men and women returned safely to their families. That, Sergeant Mitchell, is your enduring legacy." In the post-war period, the VT-1 system underwent an accelerated evolutionary trajectory. By 2008, a strategic partnership had been forged between Lockheed Martin and the Marine Corps, culminating in the development of the VT-2. This advanced iteration represented a fully integrated system, seamlessly combining sophisticated vapor trail analysis, precise laser range-finding capabilities, and comprehensive ballistic computation within a remarkably compact 8-pound unit. it swiftly became the standard issue equipment for all Marine Scout snipers. The widespread adoption continued in 2011, when the United States Army incorporated a specially modified variant, designated the Wind Trace System, WTS, into its precision sniper rifle program. By 2015, this groundbreaking technology had expanded its reach globally, being adopted by elite Allied military units, including the British SAS, Canadian JTF-2, Australian SASR, and Israeli Sayeret Matkal. The core conceptual innovation, the empirical measurement of wind effects in real time, as opposed to relying on speculative predictions, firmly established itself as the foundational principle for all subsequent modern sniper ballistic computers. Contemporary sniper systems now integrate cutting-edge advanced optics, sophisticated AI-assisted image recognition algorithms, and real-time cloud-connected weather data feeds. However, irrespective of their technological complexity, every single one of these advanced platforms ultimately traces its fundamental lineage back to the ingenious, yet rudimentary, prototype conceived by a corporal, equipped with a simple camcorder in 2004. By the year 2020, the global deployment of the VT series systems had surpassed an impressive total of 14,000 units. Manufacturers operating in the defense sector conservatively estimate that this transformative technology has been actively employed in over 50,000 distinct combat engagements across various theaters of conflict, including Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and numerous other classified operations conducted worldwide. The unassuming hero, James Mitchell, concluded his distinguished service with the Marine Corps in 2009, departing as a staff sergeant. Following his departure, he was presented with numerous highly lucrative employment opportunities from prominent defense contractors. Notably, Lockheed Martin extended an offer of $180,000 annually for him to serve as a consultant on the ongoing VT-2 development. However, in a testament to his character and perhaps his priorities, he ultimately declined these substantial propositions. He had recently declined an opportunity to offer his expertise on the ongoing development of the VT-2 system, preferring to chart a different course for his life. Instead of continuing in a military advisory capacity or pursuing further accolades, he made the deliberate choice to return to his roots in Tennessee, where he subsequently assumed control of his father's established heating, ventilation, and air conditioning enterprise. Years later, in 2013, when a persistent reporter from the Marine Corps Times successfully located him for an in-depth interview regarding the remarkable efficacy and widespread adoption of the VT system, Mitchell exhibited a distinct unease with the sudden spotlight. He humbly asserted, "I didn't invent anything fundamentally new or groundbreaking. My contribution was simply observing the trajectory of bullets and applying some basic mathematical principles. Thousands of dedicated Marines now rely on that system, and it is they who are truly performing the arduous tasks and making the ultimate sacrifices. They are the genuine heroes in this narrative. I merely furnished them with an essential implement." The inquiring journalist then posed a poignant question, probing whether Mitchell harbored any lingering regrets about his decision to depart from the Marine Corps, thereby foregoing the potential for public commendation and professional distinctions that surely awaited him. Mitchell, with a resolute shake of his head, unequivocally dismissed the notion. He articulated his philosophy with clarity. "I fulfilled the fundamental purpose for which I initially enlisted, to contribute to the preservation of Marines' lives and ensure the successful execution of their vital missions. That objective has been thoroughly accomplished. My current occupation involves repairing climate control systems, and I find it to be a profoundly satisfying existence." His words conveyed a deep sense of contentment, underscoring a life built on practical service rather than public acclaim. To this day, he meticulously safeguards his original notebook, a tangible relic from August 2004, within a private drawer in his home. This unassuming ledger is replete with his initial conceptual sketches and intricate mathematical computations that underpinned his groundbreaking work. It remains a deeply personal artifact, one he has never chosen to reveal to anyone outside of his immediate purview. Stay with us and watch the end of the video. We will be grateful for your like and subscription. Write a comment about where you are from and what you think about the video topic. The profound implications of Mitchell's journey were formally recognized in 2018 when the Marine Corps Warfighting Lab released a comprehensive case study titled "Innovation from the Bottom Up: The VT1 Story." This pivotal document has since become mandatory reading for all aspiring officers at the Officer Candidate School and for senior enlisted leaders attending the Staff NCO Academy, signifying its critical role in shaping future military thought. The study's concluding remarks offer an invaluable insight. Corporal Mitchell's extraordinary success, achieved in areas where even highly credentialed PhDs had faltered, was not attributable to superior intellect. Rather, it stemmed from his unwavering refusal to countenance impossible as a viable answer. The conventional markers of rank, professional credentials, and formal academic achievements proved to be considerably less significant than the potent combination of relentless obsession, unbridled creativity, and the sheer fortitude to endure being incorrect 100 times in pursuit of a single correct solution. The Marine Corps bears the crucial responsibility of fostering environments where even junior enlisted personnel, such as corporals, feel genuinely empowered to challenge established doctrine. Because, as this case vividly demonstrates, occasionally, the most transformative ideas originate not from the sterile confines of a specialized laboratory, but from the unassuming practicality of a garage. Adding to this enduring legacy, a heartfelt letter penned by Sergeant Mike Callahan to Mitchell in 2006, simply stating, "Because of you, we came," is prominently displayed within the revered Scout Sniper School at Quantico, serving as a powerful testament to the life-saving impact of his innovation.